What is happening, everybody? Trey here, and today at Reactions to the Classics, we are continuing and finishing our Alice in Chains journey here on the channel, courtesy again of a suggestion from our longtime friend, Alice in Chains fan and patron of the channel, Carl, as we go to Alice in Chains' self-titled record from 1995, my birth year, ladies and gentlemen. So you know it's gonna be good. And man, it's been a great time going through all of AIC's discography up to this point, and I'm excited to hear the last record that the great Lane Staley was on. So I guess with all that to say, man, let's get into the quick facts of this before we get into the reaction. So Alice in Chains, this record occasionally referred to as the Dog album, the Dog record, and Tripod, is the self-titled third studio record. It was released on November 7th, 1995, just 2 days after yours truly was born, through Columbia Records, and was the follow-up to the highly successful Dirt, which we have a full album reaction to up as well. You can check out after this if you'd like. This is the band's first full-length studio record to feature bassist Mike Inez, their last album to feature original lead vocalist Lane Staley, who died in 2002, and their last album to be released on Columbia Records. It debuted at 1 on the Billboard 200 and stayed on the chart for a whopping 46 weeks, sold over 3 million copies. As with the previous releases, this album focuses on a heavy subject matter such as depression, isolation, drug use, relationships, anger, and death. Typical AIC affair. The band relies less on metallic riffs and more on melody and texturally varied arrangements, integrating some of the more delicate acoustic moods of their EPs. However, the riffs are mostly down-tuned and atonal, employing a strong doom and sludge metal vibe. So that already sounds a bit intriguing here. After the release of the great EP Jar of Flies, Lane Staley entered rehab for his heroin addiction. The band had been scheduled to tour during the summer of '94 with Metallica, but while in rehearsal for the tour, Lane began using heroin again. Unfortunately, his condition prompted the other band members to cancel all scheduled tour dates 1 day before the start of the tour, putting them on hiatus. While AIC was on hiatus, Staley joined the grunge supergroup Mad Season, while guitarist Jerry Cantrell worked on material originally intended for a solo album. In January '95, Cantrell, Mike Inez, and Sean Kinney, who, if you don't know, is the drummer, began jamming on Cantrell's material. In the spring of '95, Staley was invited back to join the band and said that, quote, "We started to split apart and went different ways, and we felt like we were betraying each other." In April, AIC entered Bad Animal Studio in Seattle with producer Toby Wright, who had previously worked with Corrosion of Conformity and Slayer. Few of the songs on the album had been written before the sessions began, so Cantrell's material was used as a starting point. They would give demo tapes to Staley so he could write the lyrics. The album was finished in August, and Cantrell said, quote, "It was often depressing, and getting it done felt like pulling hair out, but it was the effing coolest thing, and I'm glad to have gone through it. I will cherish the memory forever." While Lane said, quote, "I'll cherish it forever too, just because this one I can remember doing." During the recording of the record, Lane was severely addicted to heroin and was often late or absent for recording. The band's manager, Susan Silver, said, quote, "It was a really painful session because it took so long. It was horrifying to see Lane in that condition. Yet when he was cognizant, he was the sweetest, most bright-eyed guy you'd ever want to meet. To be in a meeting with him and to have him fall asleep in front of you was gut-wrenching." Cantrell, in an interview with Rolling Stone magazine around the release of the album, said, "Our music's kind of about taking something ugly and making it beautiful. With the exception of Grind, Heaven Beside You, and Over Now, the lyrics are written entirely by Lane Staley, who said, quote, "I just wrote down whatever was on my mind, so a lot of the lyrics are really loose. If you asked me to sing the lyrics to probably any of them right now, I couldn't do it. I'm not sure what they are because they're still that fresh. For a long time, I let problems and sour relationships rule over me instead of letting the water roll off my back. I thought it was cool that I could write such dark, depressing music, but then instead of being therapeutic, it was starting to drag on and keep hurting. This time I just felt, F it, I can write good music, and if I feel easy and feel like laughing, I can laugh. There's no huge deep message in any of the songs. It was just what was going on in my head right then. We had good times, we had bad times, we recorded a few months of being human." Reflecting in 2018 on the record, Jerry Cantrell noted, "There's a sadness to that record. It's the sound of a band falling apart. It's our last studio record to that point. It's a beautiful record, but it's sad too. It's a little more explanatory, or exploratory rather, a little bit more meandering. It's not as crafted as the rest of our records were." And to help promote the the album, Columbia asked the band to do an electronic press kit, a common marketing tool in the 90s in which they should talk about themselves, but they did not want to do it. The band took the money from the label and made a mockumentary, the No Nut Tapes, instead. It features Jerry disguised as a female journalist interviewing his bandmates playing fictionalized versions of themselves during a car ride in Seattle. Columbia did not like the No Nut Tapes at first and told the band they had wasted money doing it. However, it became a cult hit, and Columbia then decided to sell it, but the band was against it. It was released on VHS, shout out to the VHS, in December of 95. So, with all that said, man, I think that gives a good background of obviously what the band's going through as we record this record, and we're just going to start this thing off with Grind. As always, I'm going to have the lyrics pulled up, and due to copyright, music won't be in this video, but there's a link down below where you can check out the Vimeo video, which has the full reaction uncut. Again, shout out to the patrons who help have us allow us to have that server space. But all that to say, man, let's get this going. I don't know if I'm familiar with any of these tracks, just glancing at their titles, so I'm going in totally blind here. So we have the lead single here, Grind, written by Jerry, who also sings lead vocals with Lane. Again, hitting those harmonizing vocals. I'm looking forward to that. It spent 16 weeks on the mainstream rock tracks chart and peaked at 7, also nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance. It addresses the various rumors that surrounded the band at the time. The opening lines, "In the darkest hole, you'd be well advised not to plan my funeral before my body dies," addresses the rumors that the band had broken up and the many rumors of Lane's death that had occurred frequently around this time. In the liner notes of the 99 Music Bank box set, which just has so many great tidbits and quotes to it, Jerry Cantrell said of the song, quote, "That was pretty much at the height of publicity about canceled tours, heroin, amputations, everything. Thus it was another F you for saying something about my life song. Any single rumor you can imagine, I've heard. I've been dead a few times. Lane's been dead countless times and lost limbs. I get on the phone every time I hear a new one. Hey, Lane, radio in New York says you lost 2 more fingers." I'd spooked the $6 million man. Since technology's moved on, it only cost us $2 million to put Lane back together, and we got better parts. Well, man, I'm looking forward to diving into this one. 12 tracks, a little over an hour long, so let's buckle up and enjoy Alice in Chains' self-titled record. Right, Grind, the opener on this thing, man, kind of sets. I can see, as we read at the start, kind of what it was described, the guitar is almost like, sludgy. I think you could definitely hear that on this, very heavy in the verses, whereas then the chorus, you kind of have that contrast where the vocals and the music kind of it gets a little bit more upbeat. Not to say that it is upbeat, but more so than the verses here, man. And I just think that that opening line, "In the darkest hole, you'd be well advised not to plan my funeral before the body dies." What a powerful way to start the record. And I like that AIC is just kind of putting everyone on notice here, like, hey man, like all these rumors and all the BS circulating in the media, be sure not to count us out yet, so to speak, man. Chorus was catchy, and yet again that harmonizing between Jerry and Lane. Jerry rather taking the lead vocal on this, kind of interesting to note. The first thing you hear on this new record, I can imagine at the time being like, oh, we got a Jerry track kicking us off here. All in all, man, all that to say, I thought that this was a really strong opener, and seems like it'll maybe set the tone musically for what we have in store, but I guess I'll just have to wait and see. So now we're gonna go next up to Brush Away, and looks like one of the shorter tracks on here at only 3:22. So let's hear what we got. All right, Brush Away. What a song that just, I think, was kind of brimming underneath the surface. A lot of anger and just frustration from Lane here. And again, kind of knowing what was going on with the band and just Lane's life at this time. You don't want to, again, read everything as, oh, this is about the heroin addiction or this or that. But I think you could read a little bit of that into this. Even the first lines, "I could use some time to curl away. My aggression is where you stake your claim." Maybe talking about the journalist and, kind of dissecting his lyrics or attitude or this or that. In the chorus, "I try to get away and yet I stick around. So fall and crawl away and brush away, lose ground." He's trying to get away maybe from just the hustle and bustle of the band life, maybe trying to get away from heroin. I don't know. I think there's a lot of, interpretation variations you could kind of have in that chorus. And then he kind of notes too, we noted that Lane was late for a lot of this. I don't know if it had anything to do with the lines, my intention, I arrive at 8, lie and dream some, surprise you guys, I'm late. Lane being a bit self-aware with that line right there. You know, not nearly as good as Grind, of course, but still, I think it really just kind of brought that fire that was probably brimming in Lane at this time out. So now we're going to go to Sludge Factory here, a 7-minute epic right here, written about a call Lane Staley received while at the studio from Columbia executives who told the band they had 9 days to finish the record because they had already taken a lot of studio time. The title itself refers to how the label is a factory pumping out meaningless sludge for no reason other than profit. Also touches a little bit on Lane's struggles with heroin. Right, Sludge Factory living up to its name with some of that sludgy guitar work, but also I thought Cantrell was a star on this one at different points, you know, kind of shifted the guitar tone and whatnot, and a lot of varied type of guitar sounds on this track here, which, you know, kind of made it go quicker than the 7-minute runtime that it felt like. Again, Lane kind of having a bit of a fire within him in his vocal delivery here. He notes, you insult me in my home, you're forgiven this time. I mean, that's the first line in this song, so you know that it's about to go down, people. Probably my favorite line was, call me up, congratulations, ain't the real why. There's no pressure besides brilliance, let's say, by day 9. Again, kind of going back to the story we shared at before the song about how the executives were calling him up and said, hey man, you got 9 more days type of thing. Endless corporate ignorance lets me control time. Then, you know, he touches on something else here. Now the body of one soul I adore wants to die. Don't know who he's talking about here, but he says, you have always told me you'd not live past 25. I say stay long enough to repay all who cause strife. You know, kind of go get that revenge yet again, some of that anger, I think, brimming forth, which is reflected in the music as well. That coda, we kind of had a breakdown at the end with Sean on the drum kit as well. You know, just the song I might not be revisiting on the regular here, maybe one you have to be a little bit more in the mood for, so to speak, but it's still an impressive jam right here by AIC. And now we're going to go to what looks like the most streamed song on this record here, on Spotify at least. We have Heaven Beside You. Their second single from this record went to 52 on the Hot 100 chart, making it their second highest charting single after No Excuses. Went to 3 on the mainstream rock charts. Cantrell sings lead vocals on this with Lane doing harmonies during the chorus. It spent 26 weeks on that Billboard mainstream rock tracks chart. And it was written after Jerry had a breakup with his girlfriend of 7 years, Courtney Clark, who, you know, her name's come up a couple of different times through the various AIC work. Cantrell was unable to remain faithful to the woman who he described as, quote, the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life, and added, quote, I still love her, but I'm too much of a wolf. Kill, attack, move on. It's so tough when you're so used to being hard. You can't tell an oak tree to be a pine. He later noted as well that this was another attempt to reconcile the fact that my life and past are tearing me apart from the person I love. All the things I write about her are a way for me to maybe speak to her, express things I can never express. So really excited to give this one a listen. All right, Heaven Beside You, really enjoyable track here. Probably my favorite up to this point. And I'll tell you why. I like the fact that we had that acoustic kind of the continuation almost from the Jar of Flies EP. We had that in here, blended with the you know, more heavy type of sound that we've had up to this point on this record right here. So you had that contrast, and yet it blended together in a really beautiful way. And I thought Jerry, man, sounded really solid on the vocals here. Obviously came from his soul, from his heart, man. You could tell he meant what he was saying here, and there was that pain. And you know, when artists put their pain out for the rest of us to hear, man, usually it's a good result, and this is no different. I think that chorus just says it all. Like the coldest winter chill, heaven beside you, hell within. Yet again, that contrast of the heaven and hell here, beside you and then within type of thing. I think that he's talking here whenever he was with Courtney, so to speak. It was heaven beside. She was like heaven, but his own kind of shortcomings has made it hell within for him. And now that the relationship's over, it kind of continues to be like that. But he switches it and at the end of the chorus, and he notes, "And you think you have it still, heaven inside you." He still wants to, I think, almost hold on to that idea that these good times with Courtney were just I'm able to think of those memories, and maybe that heaven is still inside me in a sense. Who knows? That's just my first listen interpretation on this right here. But all in all, yet another really strong track. I can see why this was one of the bigger hits off this record, man. And now we're gonna go to the track Head Creeps, 6.5 minutes long here. Let's hear what we got. Probably the heaviest song up to this point on the record, lyrically, and yet again, just that riff just hits you right in the face, so to speak, man. Just very kind of dark sounding here, and I think that was the perfect musical component to what Lane was writing. And we have this refrain throughout the song: "No more time, just one more time." Again, I'm thinking no more time just in life here, no more time to maybe mess up or do this or do that, or no more time to record the album, whatever the case. And then just one more time, you can't help but think of the just a drug addict, just saying that, "Oh man, I'm just going to use one more time and then I'm done," type of thing. And so then Lane just starts kind of going through his kind of dark inner feelings, and the people on the outside that are constantly I think criticizing him. In the chorus, we have "Time to call the doggies off, tired of the shadowing, slide me to the side again, slapped in the face again." Almost like, hey man, I didn't ask to be put in the spotlight or have my addiction be a big national story, this or that. Just kind of put me on the back burner again, and I think that'll be easier for me to cope and deal with. That's kind of what I was getting from that. I could be off on that, but it continues on through with some just very vivid imagery. "Empty room sets the scene, pick at me slow, pain fiend, suck me through barbed screen, anger becomes our queen." I mean, that's a lot of just very descriptive words that get to the heart of just, I think, the angst that Lane was feeling at this time, man. So all in all, a solid jam right here, to be sure. And we're gonna go now to the song again, song number 6 on here, the third single, went to 8 on the mainstream rock charts track, and was nominated for a Grammy Award. This is another one of Staley's heroin type of tracks. His lyrics are a painful example of his struggles with depression, addiction, and loss. Wow, again, man, just a powerful tune right here. Just yet again, the heaviness of the guitar and just those sludgy type of riffs are quite apparent, man. It's been interesting as we're halfway through the record to we don't really have some of those signature solos that you'd expect from Cantrell on like the debut record, or on Dirt, or even Jar of Flies, so to speak. So hearing them just go into kind of that more sludgy, just riffing is interesting, man. And it just, I think, again, highlights how talented Cantrell is on the guitar. But Lane here, man, yet again, leaving it all out here. He says, "Hey, turn me upside down, hey, feeling so down." Chorus: "You made a fool of me again and again and again." I think the interpretation of heroin there is pretty apt, but who knows. He says, "I know I made the same mistake, I won't do it again. Why did you slap me in the face? I didn't say it was okay." Again, almost calling back to our previous song, Head Creeps, which had a line about being slapped in the face, and saying, hey, this is the last time type of thing. And we had the point where we had some backing vocals where it's like, oh, doot, yeah, doot, which gave an odd sense of catchiness to a song that's so dark, to be frank with you. And then we had a line here that maybe is touching on Lane's fiance at the time, who unfortunately would pass away the next year in '96. He says, "Hey, your weak will won't help her heal her heart." One great alliteration, just a line that it really makes you think as well, and is a bit heartbreaking too, knowing I think Lane here is admitting he was too weak to help her out with her drug use as well. But all in all, man, it really powerful jam right here. Gonna be amongst my favorites once we come to that point at the end. But we still got half the album left, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hit up Shame in You. Shame in You, man. The most melodic type of track that we've had up to this point, man. It wasn't so, I guess dark and sludgy, so to speak, on the guitar work here. A bit more of a cleaner, I guess, vocal, so to speak, as well from Lane. And I really enjoyed the way that he sung his verses here. That Carl and I were talking about this one time, how Lane's one of the best ever at just saying yeah and making it sound so good. So we have the first verse, when I waken and I'm aching, time for sleeping, yeah. And he continues in that kind of, split up cadence, so to speak. And we have some of his best, I think, lyrics that he's penned on this track, where he's very honest. He says, "You're right as rain, but you're wrong to blame. Agreed, my crime's the same. My sins I'll claim, give you back, shed pain. Go find a place for own shame, so you can deal with this thing unreal. No one made you feel any hurt." Yeah, great rhyming and just interplay of all these ideas and words, and who's to blame, where did this source of pain come from, and at the end we had Sean on the drum kit able to kind of be highlighted for a little bit. I always like that too, and all in all, man, just yet again, I think we kind of reflect as you hear this song, you get to really peek behind the curtain of what Lane was really feeling here. And on the tracks up to this point, we can kind of sense that he's definitely hurting himself, in a lot of pain, and it seems just trying to get through to the next day, so to speak. And I think that kind of is reflected in this song right here. But we'll keep it going, man. All right, man, as I was always talking on the previous track, man, here Lane continues that just a very introspective and just honest thoughts that are going through his head here. Here, obviously, taking a look at God and wondering questions of, like, why, if God is all-powerful, this and that, why am I struggling so much, so to speak. I think that's kind of at the heart of this song. I thought Cantrell's guitar tone on this was absolutely phenomenal. Really, really loved the guitar work on this, and the chorus, I think, was a highlight here as well. Everything kind of soared up. Lane had a killer vocal performance here. He notes, "Dear God, how have you been? I'm not fine, F pretending." I mean, I think, yet again, those first lines on a lot of these songs just kind of set the stage for what the rest of the tune's going to transpire. He's questioning, like, "Invite you in my heart then, when done, my sins forgiven." You can tell that Lane doesn't really fully believe that, fully believe it's going to be that simple, so to speak. And so he continues on saying that he doesn't really he sees God as way up here, this or that, not being able to really help him in his situation, so to speak. He says, "All the respect I'm giving, shared strength acquired by living, all blooming life you're feeding, can't hide sick ones you're weeding." And that almost makes me think of the Job story in scripture, man. The kind of weeding you out by suffering and this or that. How strong is your faith even whenever trials and suffering come. So even though Lane and I differ on our views on God, I can feel for him and his pain that he was going through at this time, and that frustration, and that kind of like, man, why is nothing working out, so to speak. So we're gonna move on now to the shortest song on the track, or on the album rather. We have the song "So Close," clocking in at only 2:45. So let's hear what we got. Right, "So Close," kind of keeping with some of the themes on the tracks again, in Shame in You. I think Lane is again taking an honest look inside himself, and how much his heroin addiction has affected his life. Why are we here again? It's the same old sit down, rolled up, chewed up pen, nothing thrilling me too much. The chorus, just simple to the point, yeah. Yet again, going back to Lane singing yeah so beautifully. So close now, so close now. Yeah, man, that's kind of the jab, a bit quicker tempo as you'd expect. Probably one of the weaker jams on here up to this point, and yet still had things about it that I enjoyed. Yet again, I'm always down to hear just that honesty in Lane's lyrics, and this song also had it as well, almost. And then at the end, he's asking why. I think, why am I going through this? And maybe why, even though I am a drug addict, am I, in the front man of one of the most famous bands around at the time? That had to have been a bit of a unique experience, to say the least. And now we're going to go to the Nothing song here. Let's hear what we got. All right, Nothing song in here, man. Again, some really neat guitar effects in this one, kind of some swirling action at points in here. Lyrically, it has some of those Lane-isms, especially in the chorus. Well, the Nothing song sticks to your mouth like peanut butter on the brain. I thought his delivery was quite clever there on that, man. He kind of notes to, went outside to give all a break, wearing cowhide, steak on a skate. I wonder, went outside to give all a break, if he's yet again knowing just kind of the impact that his actions are having on maybe others in the band, type of thing. So yet again, that introspective nature is something I appreciate from Lane. Again, not going to be a track that's going to quite break through into my favorites or whatnot, but it still made the most use of its time, I thought, and was a solid jam, And so now we're going to go to the longest song in AIC history at over 8 minutes. We have the penultimate track here, Frog. What an eerie, ominous, dark tune. So bleak. This is in the running with, I think, Dirt, the title track for Bleakest, and just most the dark AIC tune, man. He notes at the start, what does friend mean to you? A word so wrongly abused. Are you like me, confused? All included but you alone. So I mean, we already have that isolation and loneliness right off the bat. We maybe have a little drug reference on the pupils widen, change their hue, rapid brown, avoid clear blue. The chorus, Lane's asking and pleading like, hey, why does it have to be this way, and then you almost have what reminds me of Rotten Apple, some of the lyrical content there in verse 3, where it says, a child sings an unclaimed tune, innocence spins cold cocoon, grow to see the pain too soon. Almost like eating of the apple too young and Rotten Apple. Then the ending, couple minute section here, and throughout this whole song, we had the guitar just kind of brimming underneath, that wasn't going loud or fast. It was just kind of a haunting type of a tone that Cantrell was able to get out here. And Lane notes, I'm still young, it'll be me, off the wall, I scraped you, I gotta wait, I can't wait no more. Yet again, just like almost death is looming here, and knowing how Lane's life unfortunately turned out, seemed a bit prophetic in a way. But all that to say, man, I did enjoy this tune, and I thought it was a very powerful listening experience. And now we're going to end with the track Over Now, which was written by Jerry, who's also on lead vocals on this track. Also had some success on the mainstream rock charts, where it peaked at number 4. Cantrell said of this song, quote, a lot of deep shit in there, a big epic number, plus you can get away with a hugely long tune near the end of the record. A lot of fans see this, which begins with a traditional bugle quote of taps, as an eerie foreshadowing of the band's ultimate demise, because it is the closing track of their final record with Lane. Cantrell confirmed this sentiment in an interview in 1996, saying, quote, that's about the band. It's about the breakup that took place between us. Those lines, can you stand right there and look me in the eye and tell me it's over? We couldn't. When it came right down to it, even if it ended today, though, I love the guys in the band, even if we never recorded again. I would be sad, but if it came down to where it's killing us and we're growing too far apart, it's like that line, when it's all worn out, I'd rather go without. So we'll cue this one up, ladies and gentlemen. Afterwards, I will give my favorite tracks and overall score and thoughts on this record. All right, Over Now, finishing this record off, finishing out AIC with Lane here. What a great song. This, honestly, they might have saved the best for last year. The creativity to start the song with kind of that staticky, vinyl record sound, and then going into taps was really intriguing, man. I thought it worked well with the song. And then we go in, Jerry yet again sounding really strong on this, and a lot of repetition of the lyrics here, but the lyrics, just they say it all, man. You didn't need much more than the few phrases that were said yeah, it's over now, but I can breathe somehow. When it's all worn out, I'd rather go without. And then, you know, we get what Cantrell said, you know, in his quote at the start, you know, it's been on my mind. Could you stand right there, look me straight in the eye, and say that it's over now? It's just interesting, you know. It had to have been weird with the success that they had in really a short amount of time to know that, okay, it's all kind of going to come crashing down, and it's over, man. What are we going to do after this? And then we have, you know, Lane and Jerry coming together with the line, we pay our debt sometime. I think the debt of friendship, debt to the record label, debt to their fans, whatever the case may be. A lot of different interpretations you could probably run with on that one. I thought the guitar was gorgeous. The tone, we had a little mini solo at the end there that kind of throws back to the facelift and dirt era of Cantrell's guitar work. All in all, man, just a lovely, lovely tune that's heartfelt, that, you know, hits, I think, especially I could imagine at the time with the fans of AIC, man. So all that to say, we will now go, easy transition into favorite tracks. I'll go from top to bottom just in the order that they appeared on the album. Gotta go with Grind. Heaven Beside You was fantastic. I really thought Cantrell's lead vocals on here just knocked it out of the park. I gotta go with the track Again. I just think Lane was on fire on that, and Shaman You just kind of being honest with himself and how his heroin addiction has affected him and others around him. And then the final two songs, Frogs and Over Now, also were really, really strong, especially since they were, you know, both quite lengthy, you know, 7 and 8 minutes. So now, overall thoughts and score of the record, man. This definitely not a record that you're gonna listen to when you're wanting to be uplifted. That's for sure, man. The you know, honesty is here by Lane and just the group in general. The turmoil with each other, Lane's turmoil within himself, Jerry's turmoil with himself on, you know, Heaven Beside You and the relational fail there. The guitar sounding a lot more, you know, sludgy, sounding a lot more ominous, so to speak. Didn't have the extensive solos that we were used to on some previous AIC work, but yes, those riffs still hit hard all the same. Lyrically, I thought there was some of Lane's most honest and you know, kind of forthright and dark lyrics, but it all worked well together with the music. And here I thought Inez on the bass and Sean on the drum kit played a good rhythm section for these tracks as well. You know, the track list, it seemed, was pretty solid. You had a few heavy songs in a row, and then you kind of switch things up a little bit to keep it fresh. And I'm sure some would argue some of these songs went a little too long, but hey, man, I love me some AIC, so I didn't mind too much. All in all, man, really good record. Notch below Dirt and Facelift, in my opinion, but still a strong 7.5 for me on first listen. I really, really enjoyed this. You know, even 7.75, I could see creeping up the more I listen to it, especially because I was flying in blind, not knowing any of the songs at all on this record. So, man, I'm sad the journey's over, but I'm glad that Carl suggested the AIC catalog for us to go through, and I hope you enjoy the reactions with me as well, and maybe experienced it for the first time yourself. So, long live AIC, man. I know they have some more albums out post Lane, which I'll give a spin in my free time as well and see how it is. I know there's some fans that say there's no AIC without Lane, and I can get that sentiment, but still want to hear what Cantrell and the lads cooked up. So all that to say, let me know what you think of this record, your favorites down below, how you have it stacking up with the other projects from AIC in the 90s. And I guess that'll do it from here, y'all. Be sure to give a big thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, thanks so much for watching. Happy listening, and I will see you.